Whatever rocks your socks, whatever spins your top, whatever winds your watch, whatever flips your flop, whatever turns you on, whatever flies your flag, whatever bangs your gong or whatever swings your bag. Do it often but do it well, 'cause nobody knows and there's no way to tell when the ride ends.
Good morning. How do I look? All right? Thank you. I just drove back from Phuket in the rain. About 2 hours on the motorcycle, all wrapped up in plastic in the rain. To get home, the sun came out. It was bright and shiny, but I don't trust it. So I'm going to shoot under the porch behind the house and let you see the backyard of my house. I don't think I've ever shown you the backyard. This is it. You can't see it because it's too bright out there, but there's a second bathroom back there and a laundry room that was for the staff when this was a sushi restaurant. And it used to be landscaped. I've pulled a lot of dead plants out of there and cut the weeds and stuff. And it was an outdoor garden with seating when this was a restaurant. Maybe someday when this is a thriving artists community, we will have marquee tents and tables and chairs to work on in the backyard as well. But for today, this is my studio. And under natural light, of course, this half of my face is very dark. That's probably a blessing. Count your blessings. So I wanted to tell you a story today, but I'm going to preface it. What I did in Phuket was visa stuff. But I always go see a friend, John Williams, when I'm in Phuket, and I stayed at his house, and we went out to dinner with a friend of his. And during the course of the meal, I don't remember how I got on. Oh, I had, white stuff on my arms and on my fingers. And he said, "Is that paint?" And I said, "No, that's joint compound. I've begun adding joint compound to my paper mache recipe. It makes it dry quicker and it dries rock solid." And I watched John's eyes glaze over. John was a diving instructor for many years and had a very adventurous and fun life. And I think paper mache recipes are not anything he's interested in, and perhaps nothing you're interested in, but I'm going to use it as a preface to a story I want to tell you. So one of the things I'm doing with paper mache is I'm making these medallions, all right? They're tortoise shells, turtle shells, sea turtle shells, we will agree. And I have a local artist right on the Thai Muang. I love Turtle Beach. And 20 of these will hang around the skirting under the float, the turtle float that I'm building out of cigarette lighters to be in the Turtle Day Parade next year. I will be the first Falang to ever walk in the Turtle Day Parade in Turtle Beach. And these are going to be part of the decor. Of course, they start life as just a paper mache shell, all right? The hardest part this time of year is drying the paper mache. It takes a week. If you don't get sunlight, it takes a solid week to dry one of these shells. And where they begin is in this mold. Let's see if I can get this in, all right? So this is a turtle shell, and you just push the paper mache paste in there and you let it dry in the sun, hopefully. But I want to show you this. You know what this is? This is part of a kid's Halloween costume. I found it in a secondhand toy store in Khao. And this is Leonardo from the Teenaged Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know how I know? Because Leonardo's signature color is blue, and Leonardo's signature weapons are 2 katanas worn strapped across his shell. The other 3 Ninja Turtles have their own colors and their own weapons. Let's see, Michelangelo has nunchucks. Donatello has a staff, a bow staff, and Raphael whose signature color is red, has those little trident things. They're sort of like knives, but they're three-bladed. Anyway, so this is blue, and it's two swords, so this is from Leonardo. With no other data, no other hints than that, these two loops, I know this was Leonardo, probably from a kid's Halloween costume. So why does Steve Rosse know the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles signature weapons? Well, because I once watched the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie with a 9-year-old boy 20 times, at least 20 times, not my own son. So listen, let me tell you a little story. Long time ago, all my stories start the same way. Long time ago, I was teaching on Phuket when I first got there in 1989, and I was tutoring in homes. I was teaching in the hotels, and I taught at Widyalai Phuket, the community college, and I taught at Steve Phuket, the girls' high school. One of the homes I was tutoring in, I was called, and they said, all we want you to do, you don't need to teach. This boy is a 5-year-old boy, or a 9-year-old boy. He's fluent in English. He doesn't speak Thai, and we don't want him to forget his English. So we just want an American to come and play with him a couple hours a week. Just sit and play with him. That's all you have to do. I thought that's easy money, so I showed up the first day, and it was a little 9-year-old boy. And we greet each other, and he speaks perfect California English. And the first day we played with trucks, and he was kind of into it and kind of not into it. And the second day he said, can we watch a movie? Second time I came. I said, yeah, I don't care, whatever you want to do, as long as it's in English. And he pulls out a VHS tape of the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. And we watch it. And he's ecstatic. He's absolutely in heaven. He's rocking back and forth. He's grinning, he's smiling, he's clutching my arm. And it's a pretty good movie. It's watchable. So I didn't mind. So, and all practical special effects, no CGI, all practical makeup effects and stunts. And it's very interesting to watch from a craft point of view. And it's just got a fun script. The Turtles were still endearing at that point. They soon lost that. But at any rate, so the next time I came, Jeffrey wanted to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Next time I came, every single time from then on, all he wanted to do was watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And he started to greet me with, "Cowabunga, dude!" as soon as I came in the house. And when I left, "Cowabunga, dude!" So that became our catchphrase, "Cowabunga, dude!" because it was the Turtles' catchphrase. So after about 2 months of this, I got a job as public relations manager. On the radio. I got the job on the radio. I was hired to be a DJ on the radio, and I didn't need to teach anymore. And so I quit my teaching jobs, including Jeffrey. And I, being the passive-aggressive and cowardly fellow that I am, I called his mom to quit. I didn't go and face her. I called her, and she was very disappointed, very disappointed. "Oh, Jeffrey loves you so much. Jeffrey enjoys having you around so much." And I said, "Yeah, I know, but he's a 9-year-old boy, and I've seen this movie many times, and it's time for me to move on. I'm going to be on the radio." She said, "Okay." And I said, "Why does Jeffrey like that movie so much?" And she said, "Well, Jeffrey was born in LA. She said, "I married Jeffrey's father when he was already in his 50s. And I was in my 30s, and I moved to LA to be with him. And we had a son. And Jeffrey's father was very successful. Jeffrey's father had worked for Air America during the Vietnam War, and there was an offer given to Thais who had worked for Air America that you could emigrate to America and get citizenship if you wanted. So he did that. He went to America in the late 70s, and he became a citizen, and he worked very hard his whole life. He had a business delivering groceries, canned goods from Asia. He'd go out to the airport, order them, pick them up at the airport, and deliver them around LA and all the Asian grocery stores. It was a very good business. And as he was older, he was in his 50s when Jeffrey was born, he'd come home from carrying boxes of watercress and bamboo shoots around, and he'd be tired. He really wouldn't have time to play catch or ride bicycles or anything. So what he and Jeffrey would do was sit down after dinner and watch a movie. And you know how kids are, they will watch the same movie over and over and over. So Jeffrey and his dad were watching Teenaged Mutant Ninja Turtles. And at that time, Jeffrey's dad delivered a box of something to an Asian market and walked in the middle of an armed robbery. And in their panic, the perps shot him dead. And because he died on the job and he was an American citizen, Jeffrey got Social Security benefits until he was 18, probably more than I get from Social Security. His father certainly would have contributed more into the system than I ever did. But Jeffrey's mom decided to come home to Phuket and take a job in her father's bookstore. And that's where I would meet them, and I would teach Jeffrey or sit with Jeffrey and watch this old VHS tape. And I realized that saying "Cowabunga dude" and sitting and clutching me and enjoying this movie with me, I was becoming a surrogate father to this little boy. And that made me really uncomfortable. Really uncomfortable. At that time, I was not a parent yet. I would have been 33 when this was happening. But I had grown up without a father, and I knew how important a father was. And I didn't want to be anybody's surrogate father. So I was glad I quit, but ashamed that I didn't have the courage to go talk to that 9-year-old boy and tell him I was moving on and I enjoyed my time and enjoyed the movie. I just walked out of Jeffrey's life. I disappeared out of his life without a word. Second time that happened to Jeffrey, right? So I felt bad about that. But 5 years later, I'm working on a movie called Heaven and Earth for Oliver Stone. And most of it was shot here in Phang, but we shot a lot of it, well, some of it, in downtown Phuket around Soi Romani, which happened to be the neighborhood, Old Town, where Jeffrey's mom's dad's bookstore was. And you know how it is when you're shooting on location on the street, you get a lot of looky-loos, you get a lot of people lined up behind the police tape watching you work. And I'm working out on the street. I was a set dresser on that movie, and I'm working out on the street, and I hear this voice, "Kun sa tape, kun sa tape." I look around, and there's this lanky, skinny, tall, maybe 13, 14-year-old Thai boy just shouting at me, "Kun sa tape." And I can't figure out why. And then he goes, "Cowabunga dude!" And I realized it was Jeffrey. And I walked over to him. I said, "Jeffrey, how are you?" He said, in Thai, he said, they call me Banjong. I said, "Banjong, it's good to see you. How are you?" He said, "I'm fine." I tried to speak to him in English. He couldn't do it. I don't know if they ever hired anyone after me, but Jeffrey could not speak any English. And we had as much of a conversation as you could over the police tape. And how's your mom? Fine. How's the store? Fine. You still watch Teenaged Mutant Ninja Turtles? And the look, the emotions that went across his face. There were about 1,000 emotions going back and forth across his face. This little 13-year-old boy. He probably hadn't thought of the Turtles in years. And all the associations with his father, and then with me, and then with it fading out of importance and out of memory. And he was struggling with this. And I said, "Well, I got to get back to work." "Cowabunga, dude." Big grin on his face. And he said, "Cowabunga, dude." It's the only English he had left. And out there in the world somewhere, what would Jeffrey be? He was 9 in 89, so he was born in 80, 90, 2000, 2010, 2020. There's a 43-year-old man, 43-year-old Thai man somewhere who gets misty-eyed if you say, "Cowabunga, dude." All right, that's it. That's all I had, except to tell you, hey, if you're going to be in Bangkok this week on the 10th, Tuesday the 10th, A short film adapted from a short story by Steve Rosse is going to premiere in Bangkok. A film by James Newman, produced and financed by Roy Bott. I'm very grateful to those two guys. It's called Gone in a Moment. It's going to be at a place called The Tavern, which is off Sukhumvit. It's near Nana, anyway, near Nana Plaza. Look it up. 7 o'clock is the red carpet. 8 o'clock is the premiere. And it's a short film. And, if you clap a lot, I might buy you a beer if you show up. So if you're in Bangkok, Tuesday, October 10th be there by 8, starting at 7, be there by 8 at the Tavern, and see a film called Gone in a Moment by a short story by Steve Rosse. How about that? I'm going to be there. Yeah, I went to Phuket. I left my passport at the agent, like you're supposed to, on a Thursday, and I fly out to Bangkok on Monday. I will need my passport to fly, won't I? Don't they still require you to have a passport, even domestically? So I'm going to have to go all the way down to Rawai on Monday morning, be at their office at 9 a.m., pick up my passport, and then come all the way back up to the airport, which is a pretty hefty taxi bill, but it's got to be done because Steve doesn't plan shit. Anyway, listen, if I don't see you at the premiere, if you're ever in Turtle Beach, Thai Muang, drop in, all right? I'm here all day. I'll make you coffee and we'll shoot the breeze. You'll tell me your stories, all right? And I'll listen. Thank you very much. Thank you for this time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your attention. This is the best part of my week. I really love you guys, and I really love you supporting me on this channel. Like if you haven't, subscribe if you haven't, and share if you haven't. The last two, subscribe and share, I think are very, very important to the algorithm. And have a terrific week. I love you guys. Thank you.
Whatever shaves your sheep, whatever bakes your lamb, whatever digs your peat, whatever smokes your ham, whatever blows your nose, whatever chews your bone, whatever squirts your hose, whatever sings your song, do it often but do it well. Nobody knows and there's no way to tell. When you're riding, shoot down to that